and stuff here. Well, beautiful, guys. I appreciate all of the responses and stuff there this morning. And let's jump into it because one, my man Jay like loves to talk. Like this guy is like has so much knowledge going through here, and he will go off on tangents and stuff. So I need to make sure that he has as much time as humanly possible. Jay, how are you doing, brother?
Dude, man, I'm always doing good. When you make as many mistakes as I have, you got a lot to say.
Yes, absolutely, man. Well, man, I am so thrilled to have you on here. One, because, over the past 2 or 3 months, we've been partnering on a lot of different aspects, and it has changed the game for like real estate agents across the country. Like before I ever introduce anything to you guys, I test it myself, right? And with what Jay is getting ready to roll out to you guys to talk to you about the funnel pilot, when I was first testing it, literally I produced 103 registered buyer leads in the first 30 days. Because he was like, Larry, this is the baddest system you've ever seen. I'm like, okay, Jay, like everybody tells me it is the baddest system they've ever seen, right? Like we're in sales, like everything's the best system. But I got 103 registered buyer leads, right? There was no setup fee. There was no referral fee. And I had my lender paying the $10 a day ad spend. And I went to my lender and I was like, hey, look, I'm going to be generating all of these leads. A good friend of mine says this is the baddest system that I will ever see. Do you want to test it with me? He's like, look, for $300, like I'll test it for sure. We sent 7 leads to him to get pre-qualified. 3 were fully pre-qualified. So once I experienced that myself, I was like, oh man, this has some legs to it, guys. Like this can do something, because in a time where I see agents production, agent business going down, right? Like this is what's going to get us through the REOs and lead generation. I think buyers are going to crush it for the next 2 to 4 years with BSAs, buyer incentives, all of these different things. So super excited to kind of roll this out and how we can actually partner with Jay. But Jay, give everybody a little background. My man from Lawton, Oklahoma. I don't even know where that is on the map, man. But tell us about your journey.
It's the armpit of Oklahoma. So I always tell everybody I graduated in the top 25 of my class, but there was only 36 of us. So probably most least likely to succeed. So I think I'm just proof that anybody can do this. So I got into, my dad was in property management. He didn't really sell. I don't recall as a kid seeing him going on listing appointments and doing deals, but he had a property management. And so from the time I was about 16 to 18, I mowed yards. I mowed yards for him, not the ones that you want to mow, the ones that people moved out of and didn't mow for 6 months. So I did that for a while, and I was going to college after I graduated. He bought a Coldwell Banker franchise that same year I graduated. And so he had a bunch of agents now. And so I'm around the office. I don't know what they do. I never even, I knew I wasn't really interested in it at all. That's for sure. But I went in one day to get paid, and this little guy, Rusty Williams, he was all dressed up, and I'm dirty and getting my $400 check for mowing some yards, and he gets a check for like 5,000, and I was like, how do you do that? I want to do one. How does he get paid so much? So he said, oh, he sold this house. I was like, how you do that? So I didn't know anything for anything. I was young. I was probably 18 at the time that happened, and so got licensed when I was 19. Only to realize that when you get your real estate license, they should just give you a plaque that says "figure it out," because that's the end of pretty much the training that you're going to get, and you now have to figure out how you're going to get customers. And so early on, that was most people are like, oh, you got a sphere of influence and you're repeating your referral. Well, when you're 19, you don't, your peer group are still doing keg stands in college, so. You gotta figure out how to turn a stranger into a customer. Not the easiest thing in the world. Certainly, there was no roadmap. But I started going to every trainer, and I'd go to an event, I'd learn a little idea, and I'd try it. Sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. But I'd always learn something. There was always value at everything that I went to. And eventually, things started working out. FSBO's expired. I'm doing open houses every Sunday. I'm just doing it the hardest way you can do it, basically. And had some success. that led to going to more events, investing, I didn't know what to do and there was no one there to tell me what to do. So I knew if somebody knew how to do it, they could tell me. And I felt like if they could do it, then it can be done. I just need to know what to do. And I think probably just a little bit of ignorance and believing that, if somebody else can do it, I can probably do it too. And I kind of took that mindset and I paid everybody. And I learned a little bit along the way, ended up building it to selling 500 plus homes a year. The trajectory was pretty interesting. I went from 22 to 39 to 71 or 2 to 124 to 233 to 363 to 463. Actually, it was 363, 367, 363. No systems and processes in place. I spent a whole year trying to fix everything that wasn't working. And so I didn't grow that year. But then it went up to like 531. And for about a decade, I sold 400 or 500 homes a year, and kind of became one of the dominant agents at the time, probably in the industry. And so, yeah, so I learned a lot. But in between all of that, there was a lot of lessons learned. And so, I think, what I had a friend of mine, Mike Reese, that he was a friend of mine from Lawton, and he asked me, man, what'd you do? And I was like, looking back, I'm like, a better question might be, what didn't I do? Like, I tried everything. But because he was brand new and I knew the things that worked and didn't work, I guided him, without him having to make all the mistakes. So I'm like, dude, you need this website. It's generating 300, leads a month for me. So even before he was licensed, he had the same website. It took me years to figure out how to find, right? And so he built his business to $1 million in GCI in 3 years. It took me 6 years to do that. And so, there was a lot of lessons in going through helping him along the way. That's like, hey, man, if you do the right things in the right order, you can really accelerate and build a big business. And so that turned into, I think that light bulb for me was like, this is actually doesn't have to be this hard. Like I was a little bitter at how hard it was because I spent a lot of money, a lot of effort, a lot of time trying to figure it out. And so that led to us starting a coaching company in '05. I also started around that same time. I started a company called Radio and Television Experts. We did radio and TV for real estate agents all across the country. Barbara Corcoran endorsements, Glenn Beck, Sean Hannity, ESPN Radio, different niches of the market. Once we learned how to spend here's what I learned. It's not the best real estate agent that makes the most money. It's the best marketer. And once you realize that and you understand that you can spend a little bit of money and you can get a customer, and you don't have to chase the business, that's a whole nother game. And I'll never forget the first day when I knew something had changed. I felt it was I've been trying a lot of different things, but I came back from an appointment and I had 2 post-it notes from my secretary that said, come list my house. You want two come list me's basically called me. People I didn't know. And I was like, okay, how do you do more of this? Like, this is what I want. I've been chasing it like, or, chasing a rabbit. And I was getting burnt out of that. But some of those things worked, but if you could just spend a little money and get someone to call you, like I like the idea of that. So I really went all in on learning marketing from the masters in the world of marketing. So your Dan Kennedy's, Jay Abrahams, Frank Kearns, legendary marketers. And I spent a lot of time masterminding and learning from those folks. And that's, that turned into, EXP at about 28 years ago, 2017. We coached a lot of these teams and whatnot to build these big teams and whatnot. And then we saw EXP as an opportunity. We understood the compensation was really aggressive. And we thought, hey, what better platform for us to help people than EXP? We can do this without having to sell to people and actually help them. And so that was in 8 years ago, and 8,074 agents later proved to be the right decision.
Beautiful. And here's the thing, guys, right? Like there's a lot of people that are successful at EXP, at these other companies. Like EXP has shown that this model works, right? That agents like revenue share, right? That agents like ownership in the company, that there's a cap, right? All of these different things. And that's where you had all of these other companies kind of pop up. And here's the thing, those models work. But now there is a point in time where it's about adding value, right? How do we help agents increase production, decrease cost, and build wealth? So now we have to be doing something differently as we go in. And here's the thing, like I've done very well, right? But Jay looks at my numbers and he's like, oh yeah, Larry, those are cute, right? Like the size of his group, I mean, he's in the top 10 here at EXP. And so look, the numbers will tell you a story. And Jay's numbers tell me that he's doing something right. And he has grown this group by helping agents produce more business. And so I wanted to bring him on, one, to talk a little bit more about the funnel pilot system. It's producing 3 to 6 registered buyer leads a day, how he's helping agents set that up to actually get conversion ratios, and then how we can tap into it, right? And actually use Jay and the rest of his systems and stuff as a partner as well. So Jay, like wherever you want to start,
Yeah.
I will,
Yeah. I mean,
if you
I
need to
think,
share your
uh,
screen
uh,
or anything, I'll make you
yeah,
a
man.
co-host.
So yeah, here's where I think we should start. So I'll go back to 2007, 2008. Was anybody in the business in '07 and '08 that's on here besides you? So we could all share like the war stories and show scars from that time. Fascinating time. And if y'all were in REO back then, congratulations, because it was a good time for REO. But at that same time, I was building, doing new construction, doing developments, flipping houses, everything real estate. Started the coaching company that same year, and everything got hammered. So next thing I know, I look up, I put my head in the sand. I was still selling a lot of real estate, but gosh, it was hard and very hard to make money. And so I had to turn a bunch of properties into rentals that I wouldn't have normally because I was buying them on thin margins on the flip. I was getting aggressive. Learned a lot of lessons. Basically, ended up, passive income, 28 rental properties at 28 years old, and I'm writing checks to them. And so this was not a chapter I recall in Rich Dad Poor Dad. So it was outside the game plan a little bit. And so I was like, this passive income, getting to a place where you're financially free is one of the hardest things I've ever tried to do in my life. And so I was attracted to this revenue share opportunity partially because of how difficult it is to buy. You have to make enough money to live on and pay taxes and invest and hope you got it right. And so and I was living in Puerto Rico for 4 years, and I've been making $300,000-400,000 a month. So the biggest problem you have every month that when that much money comes in is you got to park it somewhere. And so I'm looking at all these investments. I'm trying to, because it actually it's a high class problem, but it is a problem. Like you got to figure out, people that have money that have never had money often lose it because they don't know what to do with it or how to invest it. And so, I become a student while I was down there, and I'm amongst billionaires and living amongst a lot of really wealthy people. So it's a good place to be. While you're trying to figure that out. But I invested in on some apartments, and I GP'd on the deal, and I put $500,000 into it. And I'm a year into that as a GP. The first thing I learned was it wasn't passive income, especially if you're a GP, because I have 10 meetings a week on this damn property. But so I don't like 10 years of 10-week meetings. That's not what I'm trying to do. But on top of that, it didn't pay me the first year as we're taking over the property and ran into a couple of challenges and getting things done. And you learn a lot. But as we got to, even if it does at 8%, that's $3,333 a month. I'm like, you know how hard it is to make $1,000,000 and then put $500,000 into an apartment complex to make $3,300. Like that can hit my bank account in the next 15 minutes with revenue share. Like it's that kind of difference in opportunity. No capital contribution. You don't have to invest 500,000 to make money off of your money. Like it's such a big opportunity that you really, if you really are not, if you're not ignoring the future and how much time there is left for you to get to a place where you can actually do the things you love in life, like there's nothing like it. And so I was coming back understanding like what are you doing? Like the margin on revenue share was net 97%. And I don't remember the exact dates, but me, Mike, and Al had all of our buckets together and we had added it up and we had all made $40 million in revenue share during the period that I pulled it all up. This was a couple years ago. I think it would have been the whole time we probably made 40 million. And I did the math on our expenses and I was like, dude, we only spent like 3-4% in expenses. Like there's no business on the planet like that has that high a margin. And so, but I was proud of that. But what I realized is like, you idiot. What would happen if you decided to go all in on revenue share? And I would have said I was all in, but I knew that I could solve problems because I've done it at a high level for agents all across the country and I charged a lot of money to do it. But what if I could do it at scale and provide actual value? And what I would say that phase one of EXP for us, and I think we were one of the first ones to see the opportunity this way, was we could add a lot of perceived value by being in our network. Get on our Monday call, our Tuesday call. This training's free. You can go to all these courses. It's all good stuff, but it's high perceived value, but I don't know that it's high actual value. It doesn't solve a problem for you immediately. You still got to implement all the things you learn, and I feel like most of the people that I come across in real estate, they need the help with implementation. And so I was scared to do this. That's when I knew the minute I was scared I was going to do it, but I didn't know if it was the right time, and I didn't know if it was going to work. And so I said, okay, what if I took, because I had helped agents get into production because my seventh level you had to have 40. So like I only recruited two people a month, by the way. So like two people a month for 8 years. That's it. It's not a lot of people. Very doable. Anybody can do it. But the two people turned into 8,000. But the thing that I could do with a couple of people is like, let my army of people that I've got resources, let me make sure you sell a house so you become an FLQA. And so I kind of had solved, because if you didn't, that might be the difference. For me, it was $1 million problem. If I lost my level 7, it's going to cost me $1 million. It wouldn't all at once, but 135,000 a month is how big the problem was. And so the level of intensity that I wanted to make sure, no matter what, I helped you sell a house, was a different way than I'd ever looked at it. It was a higher intensity of, let's make sure that this works. And so we were doing that, but doing it at scale was another. So if I said I'm going to do it for everybody on this call, like that's a different animal. And so, we started working in that direction. And this is where I think sometimes luck meets opportunity. I didn't know how scalable it would be. So I'll explain what we do, and I'll explain it with Chat GPT. That's where the luck. Chat GPT got significantly better as we were trying to figure out how to do this at scale, and it made it infinitely 10x better. Right, almost it felt like overnight. So what I know is that if fundamentally, if I increase your conversations per day with people who want to buy and sell and are open to doing business with you, that's the leading indicator of if you're going to sell more houses. And there's a lot of ways to do. There's a million things you could do, right? You can do open houses. You're going to meet and have conversations. You can knock doors. You can cold call. You can do all of these things, but what can you do? What can you get someone to do that you can get anyone to do? Like it has to be something that, because some people are going to be like, nope, I'm never going to knock a door. It's inefficient. Like I don't think you could go all day long and knock doors and never talk to someone. I feel like that's like the most inefficient way to do it. Maybe it works. I don't know, but I'm going to find a way to talk to more people in a more meaningful people in a faster way than that, hopefully. And so, this the thing I know how to do, and that I think it's a lost art. It's actually something that's very complex that people don't understand, but it's about understanding marketing and who you're targeting, the message to the market match, and how to do that in a way that you can generate a higher quality conversation with someone that wants to buy or sell and it's open to doing business with you. So I can do that in any market in the US, $3 to $5 cost per lead. So I know agents are paying 41.5% referral to Zillow, and I hate Zillow. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing. If I did what I can do for you, you're going to have 100 leads, just the exact example that Larry gave. If I get you 100 leads, you're going to talk to 30% of those, because I'm going to take the tool and I'm going to bake in the best practices in terms of what we know helps engage, gets people to reply to a text. So if I can get in, I know you're not going to call them all in the first 5 minutes. I also know there's an MIT study that says if you would, you're going to have 106 times more likely to actually make contact with them. And so we want to do everything we can to increase the odds of conversion. So as long as we get to a 30% contacted rate, you're going to set 5 to 7 appointments to sell 1 to 2 houses. So mathematically, I've done it enough times to know no matter how good or bad you are, if those numbers are true, you're going to sell something. And if you don't, let's say you talk to 30 people and didn't set one appointment, I know where to go to work to help you. What are you saying on the phone, right? And so we do this for agents now. What we do is we identify the market you're in. And we go to Chat GPT. We say, let's take 3 cities. I'm in Frisco, Texas. So it's like Plano, Frisco. It's Dallas, Plano, Frisco, McKinney, Little Elm, the Colony, Prosper. They're all 5 minutes away. One of them's hotter than the others. And that's Frisco, where I'm at. And so I kind of know that. You can look in the MLS and figure some of this out. That's how we used to do it. But if you go to Chat GPT and you say, what's the sweet spot in the market? I'm looking to run these type of ads to generate, high quality leads of people that are looking to buy, da, da, da. You give it the right prompt, and it's going to tell you this price point, Frisco, new construction or not, this, that, the other. and it's going to tell you what images to put in the ad. It's going to give you everything. Where I used to manually have to figure all that out. And if you pick the wrong image, your lead cost could be $8. Well, that's double or triple what it could be. So now I'm getting less leads for the same ad spend. So all of these things done right, compounded, lowers lead cost and increases the numbers. So your budget goes further. And so you call realtor.com and they're going to send you a lead. They're going to charge $65 for it. And by then I'm going to have you showing houses. And that's the difference in making, how important it is to have your budget go further and have more leads. And so fundamentally it helps us with that. Also, we're going to ask ChatGPT, who is the most likely buyer in this market to buy today? And this is fascinating because as I did do this with folks all across the country in all these different markets, they're all absolutely different. There's every niche of the market is completely different in terms of who's actually moving there and why they're moving there. And there's a million different reasons. And so for me in Frisco, it's tech. There's Toyota world headquarters is here. So is Dr. Pepper Keurig. Those are tech jobs. They hire all that they're hiring right now. They're hiring. And so people from Washington, Oregon, and California are moving here. They got tech jobs. They're 46 years old. Their kids are this age, and this is their hopes, fears, concerns, desires about this transition. And this is the exact type of home they're going to buy in that price point. And here's why. All really, really good stuff. The other subset of the market are people in Carrollton and the Colony. They want to move to Frisco to get their kids in Frisco school district. They've lived in this area for a while, but they know that this is the better schools for their kids, and they want to do that. They have a home to sell, by the way. About 40% of these leads are going to have a home to sell because the price point is at a point that it's not first-time home buyer. So there's a whole nother opportunity within the opportunity for listings as well. So from there, what my team does is we onboard you, we map the CRM to do what we know works best, so you don't have any brain damage by the time we get you onboarded. So everything we do is done for you. We go through this strategy with you. Then we go through branding. So we build your YouTube channel, your brand, your Instagram, any of the things, look and feel. Find out if there's a niche you want to go after. We customize it to go after that particular niche if it makes sense financially. If ChatGPT tells you shouldn't and you want to do it, we'll let you. But I wouldn't argue with the big brain. You can argue with me, but I wouldn't argue with the big brain. But so it's giving you really good understanding of this is going to work or not. And then you go to the content piece, and this is where we're going. We're helping you build my goal is I don't want to go an inch deep and a mile wide. I want to drill a mile to bedrock and extract as much value out of your ad spend as possible. And short, what I'm actually doing is I'm leveraging AI to lower your customer acquisition cost or your CAC. In business, most people understand that. Most time in real estate, it's not a thing that we pay attention to. But if you're spending 41.5% referral fee, it's not actually on your P&Ls, but you're spending, $4,000 to acquire a customer when I can do it for about $190. So it's much more efficient to put money into something that costs $190 to acquire a customer than something you're paying on the back end of Zillow. So I try to get people off of the Zillow wagon and a very, very effective way. And it works really well. So on this content piece, so we're going to tell ChatGPT to give us 10 scripts based on those hopes, fears, concerns, desires of the real buyers that are in this potential list of 100 people we're going to generate every month. And we're going to talk to them like a tuning fork to exactly what their concerns are. So it might be the video. First one might be the top 3 things you should know before you ever put your kids in Frisco School District. That person is going to click on that. Probably both of those avatars would click on that one. And this is the reason we do that is because you spoke to 30, but you didn't speak to 70. So those 70 people, the minute they filled out that form, they have amnesia. They didn't fill it out. They don't remember doing it, whatever. But if they consume content that's relevant, they come back to the site 2 months from now and they're looking and a text goes out to them. Now they know who you are. They're more likely to respond favorably. And we're able to increase the overall contacted rate of this campaign that we build. So fundamentally, this is what my team implements step by step along the way. And we do that for the grand total cost of nothing, not a damn dollar, nothing. Why would I do that? Because if I help you be successful and you come over, first of all, it makes a really good offer for recruiting. So if somebody watches this webinar, they're expecting a 15. I had a guy, I don't know if you were on a call. I talked about this yesterday. I had a call day before yesterday with a guy. His name, what is his name? Peter something. About 10 minutes into it, I realized we were in a conversation where he was not willing to come to EXP and I was not willing to take his money. And I was like, this is the most odd conversation I've ever been in. I'm like, you're trying so hard to pay me right now, and I'm trying so hard not to take your money. It doesn't even make sense. Why don't you explain to me why you want to pay me $15,000 instead of leaving KW and just coming over to EXP? I said, it doesn't even make sense because most people, that's what they come to the conclusion of. They're like, yeah, free. You're going to do all this for you. I have a team, and this is world class Olympic gold medalists. My team, they're phenomenal. They're not average. These are 10,000 a month employees. They're the best of the best that I've ever worked with. They know what they're doing. Okay. And they're very helpful. They like, you have access to them, support all the time. Like I built a machine here and they're really good. And so like, it's a pretty good offer from a recruiting standpoint. You got to come up with a really good reason why you like your broker to not come over. And it's working like crazy for recruiting. But if I help you in your business and you have an experience that's world class and you get business that you otherwise wouldn't have, you're going to tell people you're not even trying to recruit. And you're just going to be like, no, man, for real, this is not the same. Like, you got to see it. And that's what we want to create because naturally people are going to ask when you leave, why you left. And if you show them this video, we're going to help you recruit them. And then we're going to do the same thing for them. And it's not going to cost them anything either. And so that's the reason I went all in on that. This is what I call going on in all in to be because I know that unless you know the things that I've learned in my life and how to do them and build a team of people that are willing to do it and you're willing to invest 100,000 a month and not make a dollar but off the back end of your success. I'm only successful if I help you. So and I'm never going to I'm spending more than the cost of that because I know that I'm going to recruit more agents and I'm going to empower more of you to go earn revenue share and we're all going to win together. And so to play this game, you got to have a lot of money and you got to be a little crazy probably, but I don't do it for the money. I have plenty of money. I don't, that's not at all what into this. What I know I can change a lot of people's lives, and I just believe that's why I'm here. So I'm here to help people that want my help. And it's like, who do we want to go bless today? Bing, let's help them. And so I think implementation is the biggest challenge people have in all of this stuff. It is for me. I can't do none of the stuff my team does. Like if I didn't have them, I couldn't do it. So if I can remove that stress and anxiety of you having to figure all this stuff out, you're gonna be successful. You're gonna sell more real estate. You're gonna be happier, and then you're gonna want to tell people about it, and they're gonna come over too, and you're gonna start building passive income. That's my crazy story. We've been doing this for 6 months behind the scenes, and it's really interesting because every business I've ever had, I had a call with Mike Reese this morning. We've lived by each other ever since he called me in 2002, and he's working on some things that are really cool. And I told him, I said, dude, I've never in my life been in all the businesses I've owned not had a focus on having to sell something like because that'll consume you if it's always you got to find the next sell, you got to do more marketing, more sales. I'm not selling anything. So all I do all day long is like, how do we make this better? How do we add to it? What's next? How do we make it more valuable? How do we make the process easier? And it's a cool place to be because you can build some really cool shit when you're not trying to sell it. You can make things better. And thanks to Chat GPT, I can do things that I never could have done before or that would have taken me 10 or 15 employees to do. And so we're just in a really unique place. And what Larry's bringing to the table is Larry and I have partnered thanks to co-sponsor, and you can now partner with Larry and myself, and we can help you go build your organization as well as help you with your production business. Add another pillar of income to your. And I do believe this is important. I think we all know it, but most of us, you have to you got to take care of the house first. So you got to have enough money coming in that you can focus on the future. And for me, focusing on the future was doing other big things and trying to buy properties and GP in an apartment deal. And I'm like, this ain't getting me any closer to my financial freedom. And so as long as you buy into the opportunity of a lifetime is revenue share and that this is maybe the best vehicle for you to get to financial freedom, and we have a window of about 5 years right now, I think, to add 100,000 agents to EXP. And for those that jump on this and understand the difference in this value proposition versus saying, hey, do you want to come to EXP? Totally different. You talk to 10 people about EXP, you get 8 or 9 no's because they think they know what it is. Well, it's not their fault. And the way business has been done is they're over there trying to figure it out. I don't matter what company you're at. Nobody's doing it for you. You're figuring it out. You're like, you want me to come over there and try to figure it out? Like, how does that help me? And so there's in their mind, it's a lateral move. Okay, the math's a little better. Okay, there's revenue share. I ain't got time to think about that. I got to put food on the table. But if you approach it where they're at, again, like a tuning fork to the problem, they need the idea, but they need the help implementing it. And everything I explained, I'm sure, as far as lead generation, all that stuff made a lot of sense, right? So people are like, that sounds really good. That makes sense. I see why it would work. But it's like, oh, what are you selling? Or how much is it going to cost me? Or how am I going to implement it? And if I don't implement it, you're going to mess it up. We did that for a while where we were just, hey man, we walked through it, videoed everything, how we do it. Everybody tried to do it and everybody came back. And if they got, only the strong made it to the end of all those videos, but like it's brain damage. It's not what you should be doing. If I make the phone ring, I believe all of you will sell a house. That's what you're good at. The rest of it, let my team do the work. So that's basically why we're here today.
And here's the thing, guys. Like I see some people on here that have been using it and starting, like Jeff Russell, David Russell, Kelly Cummings. I see on here, I think for Mika or Johnny. Like, here's the thing. Maybe I just got lucky, right? Like maybe Jay just got lucky with his organization, right? I don't think so. But what kind of, like, how many leads have you guys produced? I mean, we've only been using it, let's call it maybe 2 months at this point in time. Like, what kind of results have you guys been producing and stuff with the funnel pilot? How many leads are coming in, et cetera, if you wouldn't mind sharing? This is where I need one of you guys to unmute and talk to us, please.
I've had so far 3 buyer leads from it.
3 buyer leads that have came through that you're actually talking to, that are in the car working with you and stuff. And how long have you guys been using it? Because
not very long.
As tech savvy as you guys were you took the longest to actually implement.
Well, to be honest, I do 3 jobs, so it's a little. So I'm giving myself credit for the leads that I've gotten.
Yeah.
So I would say within the last 2 months, though, like it hasn't been more than 2 months, and 3 buyers in your car actually looking at home and stuff at this point in time. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Beautiful. I love that. How about David Russell, Kelly Cummings?
Hey, I'll tell you, it's not me. I'm behind you, Kelly. I just got live today. So after 8 weeks. So we'll see how that works. But I do have a young man on my team. I think he's actually on this call. He, in 2 months, had an ad spend. It's about 3 months of $850. He's got 1 contracted that paid a $10,000 bonus. He's got another one in the car. He's got 4 more pre-approved in 2 months for $850.
Yeah.
Like a 32 times return on investment.
There you go. That's the reason. Like, even if the numbers don't sound huge, this is a machine you can turn the volume up or you can turn the volume down. So if you want more and get there faster, you can do more. But that's the type of return. A 32-to-1 return is, that's way different than Zillow. That'll get you off of Zillow in a heartbeat.
Yeah, he's brand new. This is a brand new agent that never had a deal before coming over with us and working this program. And now he's got a pipeline. He's jammed. Yeah. He actually had to turn it off, Jay. He had to turn the leads off because he's like, I can't handle these leads. What do I do? His problem is, how do I call them? How do I manage them? Not do I have enough of them?
Yeah, that's a high class problem.
And then that goes to the 30%, right? Like your goal is to at least reach out to 30% of them, right? In order to get some of these numbers. And the reason I wanted to share that with you guys, right, is like, this is working not for experienced agents, but this is working across the country. And, with David's agent that's on his team, that's where I would be finding a lender partner, right? Because there's no setup fee, there's no referral fee or anything like that. And I would have my lender be partnering with me, helping me convert these leads, paying for the ad spend personally, so it's no money out of pocket. Now, here's the thing. The people that I called on, right, we were really early into this game, and because Jay used to only use this for his organization, right? It wasn't available to anybody outside of his organization. We would have had to do this. So David, Jeff Russell, myself, like, we all pay for this system, but this is where co-sponsorship has changed the game at this point in time, because now Jay and I are partners and we are crushing it. I've seen our group grow almost 100 agents in the last, let's call it 2.5 months, mainly because of this. This is the only thing that has changed at this point in time. Guys, that's over 15% of my organization, which is almost 700 agents. That is crazy. And so this is where, like, I went to Jay and I was like, look, this works. How do we do more? And he was like, well, what about this, Larry? Right? Not everybody is paying it for it like you guys, and doing the coaching and doing this and doing that. He's like, if your agents will bring somebody to the table and allow me to co-sponsor and stuff with them, like I'll provide it to the agent that they're bringing in, and like I'll provide it to that agent for helping me grow my group and stuff as well. That is what I wanted to share with you guys. Look, I can send you guys a link for you guys to sign up for it today. I think it's $199 a month or something like that. It is what I currently pay for it. But if I can get you guys that for free and you guys don't have to do that, and it helps grow your downline, that is the game changer.
Larry, actually, yeah, you can't buy it. So my intention was to never sell it. So the only way you can get, nobody can get in now unless you get in with someone like Larry. And so my goal, because think about it, like, that's not good money for me, is to sell this product. If I told everybody at EXP I'd do this for $197 a month, I'd have I have thousands of customers. That's not the business I'm in. I'm trying to help people get financially free. I want to help the people that want to help other people. And so it'll bottleneck my whole system. And so, like, you can't go find an offer anywhere where it said you can go buy this. I hope it should be all shut down. And so, because I want to help the people that are trying to grow the organization, that's how I get paid. I'd rather get paid revenue share because I know what it turns into. And so, it's not available for sale. And it really, the only time people could buy it was if they weaseled a way around and figured it out and found somebody and talked them into selling it. And, like, I was like, all right, well, I'll let you have it. But again, this was kind of before I could do it at scale. And so I just knew that it became a bottleneck. If you put 100 people into it on the front end, it just bottlenecked part of our processes. And so now that we've ironed out a lot of that, I can do it more at scale, but I still have no intention of selling it. It's not the goal. It's like the guy that's trying to he's trying to pay me. I'm like, I don't care if you give me 15 grand. I'm not doing it, because I got to go tell my team, now I'm going to help you over here, in another company. All my processes are built to go through EXP and everything we get here. And even though I want to help you, like, you got to convince me why you're not coming, because I don't understand it. And so I got a call with him today, and I said, you got to sleep on it. He just had been where he's at for his whole life. And he woke up this is what happens. People wake up and they're like, if somebody asks him, do you think you'll ever leave Keller Williams? He's like, nope, I'm going to die here. Like, that's where he was at. In his mind, I ain't never leaving. And after that call, he's like, well, I might be leaving. So he's thinking about office space and all this stuff. Like, he was nowhere close to an opportunity to come to EXP until he consumed enough information about what I do to help him. And then he's like, well, I guess I might be leaving. And so that's kind of what we're not approaching people with, I think the biggest mistake in agent attraction is talking about EXP, because they don't know that doesn't translate to solving a problem. This solves a real problem. And so when you ask someone to watch this video that you're going to have access to send to people, they get invited to a free opportunity to let us help them. And so it's hard to come up with a reason not to do it.
And here's the thing, guys. So scratch that. Like, I can't even sell it to you anymore, right? Like, as some of us others have kind of gotten in. It's only a partnership at this point in time. But Jay and I will help you build this out. And what Jay hasn't told you is the evolutions that's coming down the pipeline. It's not just the lead generation. There's an entire social media campaign that tells you exactly what to post that's around the same content as your ads. So now you start becoming the local expert. And can I drop, like, what you guys are working on right now, Jay?
Yeah.
Like, so this is where he's working on this right now, to where you will be able to send him a recording, and using AI, like David Russell just sent me something of you. It looks like when you were like 19 years old, sitting on a couch in a college dorm room or something like that. And I was like, I've heard all of that, but that Jay looks different than this Jay type thing.
Yeah.
And so not only like now we'll be able to use that to actually put content in out there for you, because implementation is the biggest thing. So it's not just the lead generation, it's all of the other things. And now you stack in the REO and stuff on top of it, it becomes an absolute game changer. And here's the thing, I cannot make this any easier for you guys. I don't need you guys to go out and learn how to do all of this and learn what to say to people. Like, my only thing for you guys to do is I put a Google Docs in there. It has 2 scripts, like one for buyer side, one for the listing side. I need you to use that script. Don't fuck this up for me. Don't start talking about EXP. Don't start talking about switching companies, because we don't even know if those people are a good fit for us, right? Like, we don't need to work with everybody. Like, we want the A-level players that want to come in here and grow something with us and use this. And those are the people that are tapping into this. So in there, there's a couple of sample scripts and stuff for you. Then like there's my email address. Like, literally all I need you to do is find people that are interested in increasing production, decreasing costs, building wealth. Shoot me an email. We will get time on the calendar, and we will start running through this checklist over and over and over again. I have agents that have never brought in anybody that are spending 15 minutes a day using that process. And in the first 2 months, we have 3 people underneath them already, because it's about the value proposition and stuff at this point. So I can't make it any easier at this point in time. One, to help get you guys this system for free, but then also to help you guys build your organization and stuff as well. What am I missing, Jay?
Man, no, that's it. I mean, I think the thing that this is going to be very difficult to compete with if you're anybody or anywhere else is every day I wake up trying to think, how can I leverage AI to make your life easier and not ever charge you anything? And so, like, how can you, I don't know how anybody's going to compete with that, because my intention is never to take a dollar from anybody. And that's because of the revenue share. And so how much better is it going to get to be determined? But everything I know all the problems we have in the business, from up to about 500 transactions a year, I can tell you all of them. And I know that now I have ways to solve it that's infinitely easier than what it used to be. And so we're just, the world is our oyster, and the more I can do to add value is what our offer is only going to get better. And so we already got some really cool things on the horizon that we're working on, but we gotta shore up a few things before we go to the next priority. But it's only going to get better, and that's what, if you really truly, if you understand every other real estate model, they monetize anything that they do for you. So yeah. Keller Williams sells you bold. Why? It's a profit center for them. It's one of the only ways they can stay profitable. All of these companies, if they provide some type of lead, they want a referral fee and a different split and all that. That's 1.6 million agents are out there, and companies that are trying to monetize off of the agent. And we are over here trying to figure out how to do everything for free. That's a wildly different value proposition. And when people really truly understand that, and we deliver not just perceived value, but actual value, it becomes irresistible offer.
Yeah. And let me just respond to people. Debbie, that's exactly the right thing. Like, start a list and start working through it. From Mika Ford is a testimonial, not only to the amount of business that she's generating from this, but 3 months ago, she had 0 people underneath her, and now she's approaching 25. Like, that is the testimonial. How? By simply making introductions. Like, we will figure that out. Greg, I see that you're interested on here. This is what we're talking to Tony about, right? Because he specializes in new home sales. And I'm like, oh my God, Tony, you have to be using this, and you have to bring your entire team over and stuff like that as well. And so, like, it's been absolutely bananas at this point in time. Johnny Howard, I see your hand raised, man. What's going on? He's muted, he's driving. So I see, do we just sign up online? Literally all I need you to do to get this process started, right, is to email, like, make an email introduction for agents that you think this would be interested in. And right? I tag them under my system as you, and then, you know, that's how we're able to get both of you guys the platform without having a cost and stuff there. And I think it's Bashara, if I'm not mistaken. And I think we lost Johnny Howard and stuff there, but he might come back on. But what kind of questions, calls, and stuff do you guys have? We've got about 10 minutes for Q&A and stuff like that. Like, what questions you guys got for Jay? Like, let's throw them out here.
Well, go ahead.
Hey Jay, I just first of all I want to say boomer.
Sooner.
Yeah, I'm
If my
from
son was
Oklahoma
here, he would
City.
be Texas sucks. Like, yeah.
Yes, I'm from Oklahoma City. This is Aisha out of Atlanta. So let me just get this correct. Is this something basically like if we do have you know, a pipeline of, you know, other real estate agents that we've worked with in the past and things like that, are we trying to, is it like two different faucets? Because I'm trying to understand a little bit. I got a little lost.
Yeah. So here's how I would explain it. There, we have Funnel Pilot, which is our agent production system, and we have Accelerate, which is our agent attraction system. Our agent attraction system uses Funnel Pilot to recruit, right? So if any agent that you want to try to recruit, you say, hey, could you handle 2 to 3 deals a month? You got to watch this. If they watch this video, they're going to see the offer that if they partner with us at EXP, they get all of this for free. And so it's a recruiting offer, but I'm also going to help you with your business. I'm not just going to leave you hanging and let them get all the value. So when you bring over a recruit, I'm going to also do this for you and your business.
So what is the first step we need to do? If I have a list of agents that I would like to see come over, what do I need to do first?
So use that script, right? Like, use that script, reach out and be like, hey, Debbie, look, a good mentor and friend of mine, like, presented an opportunity to me. I'm not sure if I have the bandwidth to be able to take advantage of it right now. I told him I would help find him a referral agent that could take on some more business at this point in time. Like, does it interest you? This system's doing 3 to 6 registered buyer leads a day, and then stop talking.
Yep.
Anybody that says yes, be like, great, I'm going to put us on an email together, introducing you to Larry. You'll set up some time with him. He'll go through all the details. If they say, well, Debbie, tell me more about it. Like, what does it entail? Do I have it? Like, oh my gosh, he didn't say anything about that because you don't know enough about it yet, right? Like, I don't want you to lie. I don't want to put you in an odd position. Like, literally, I don't know because I haven't taken advantage of it yet. Once I get some things set up, I will come back to setting up the appointment and then let me go to work. That's all that you have to do at this point in time. Ravi, what do you got, buddy?
I had the same question as the other lady just was asking. So I understand this is for recruiting. How are we generating the leads? Because the agents that I work with, I mean, they are top producers. So I don't think just throwing them the carrot that, hey, 3 to 6 leads coming your way. I mean, I need to give them some more context. So if either you or Jay can talk about as to how the leads are being generated in California, then that would be a big selling point, or at least talking point to some of the agents that I work with.
So we'll do a case study with you. So where are you in California? What market would you want to increase your business?
Listing side. I'm in San Jose.
Okay, you're in San Jose. So
Yes.
if you want to generate listing opportunities, what do you expect the cost per lead to be?
Right now, I'm paying close to $100 because I do EDDM in my neighborhood.
$100 per lead or $100 per listing?
Per lead.
Right.
Yeah. To be very honest, I have not run the numbers and granular details as to how much it would cost me.
Yeah, it's
that's what I'm doing.
I'll tell you, you're going to spend probably in that market. You're going to spend, and it can vary by different sources and whatnot. But you're going to spend $1,500 to $3,000 per listing. Most real estate agents, that's not a budget that they have. So if they are these agents, do they have teams? Do they have are they teams?
They're solo. They're solo.
They're solo. Okay, so.
Yes.
About how many transactions are they doing, would you say, on average?
I have never, but I do see them. They are producing agents that I know, but probably in a year, they're probably doing 15 to 20 transactions.
So if they're doing 15 transactions, they're doing 1 transaction a month. I don't think they can just say, I wouldn't say they're just top producers. I'd say that they're still trying to figure it out. So if they're doing 15 deals, and what's the average commission?
I mean, the purchase prices are anywhere between 1 to 2 mil.
Okay, so they're making $20,000-$30,000 a deal. Okay, so
Mhm.
if I could generate you a transaction that's at $190 to $200 per transaction, and you make 20 to 30,000 on that transaction, would you be interested in learning how I can do that for you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's why I'm
That's all
still.
you got to say. That's
Yeah.
all you got to say. So like, I wouldn't assume that because they're a top producer, that they don't want to have more deals. If you want to increase your business by 2 to 3 deals a month, then this is something you'd want to take a look at. What I explained, I didn't explain the nuts and bolts of it, like
Mhm.
how we go into Facebook and build the ads. Like that's like, that's like asking to see a T-bone steak by sticking your head in a butcher's ass. Like, you don't need to know that. Like,
Mhm.
you but I what I did explain to you is how we're targeting and how we're approaching the marketplace. How, like, I don't know if you were on for that part at all, but how we identify the market, use Chat GPT, identify the sweet spot in the market, and how we're generating these leads at a low cost. All of that entire process is what we do. It's just what we know how to do. So, like, I guarantee you, if you knew how to do it, you'd already be doing it, right? So they don't know how to do it. But if they're interested in if they're only doing 1 deal a month, and you say, would you be interested in adding another 1 to 2 to 3 deals a month? They're going to be, the right people are going to be interested. If they're not interested, then go to the next person. Like, if they're doing so much business that that's not interesting to them, I would, if it was a team, it would be different. But an individual agent adding 2 deals a month, that's tripling their business.
Thank you,
And
Joe.
Robbie, the point is not for you to like walk everybody through this, right? This is where, look, you can introduce them to me. Like, we'll get them, like, we'll pre-qualify them and stuff. And if they really have some interest in growing their number and stuff, like, we'll get them on the phone with Jay, and then we'll kind of go through everything. And that's kind of it, is like, we're doing this across the country. I will have some case studies for you, because I just brought on an agent in Northern California, close to San Jose. And so, like, at the end of the month, I'll be able to have some actual numbers and stuff for you that
Sure.
you can take back and use those as well.
Yeah.
Appreciate it,
And
guys. Thank you.
it's just a lot better in San Jose than it is everywhere else. Like, I mean, if I remember right, right out of the gate, they pick up a deal like right out of the gate that was like $1 million plus or something, Larry?
Yes, like, well, everything's $1 million plus and stuff
Right.
over there at this point
Right.
in time. So
Yeah.
I'll get you like, those numbers will be very close to your specific market. And then, like, what I would do is be like, man, I was just talking to a friend of mine, implemented this system. It did this in the first 30 days. I'm thinking about doing it. Like, does it interest you at all? And then you make an introduction.
Yeah. The most important thing, and we don't say this enough, but trust me, we have to say it all the time, over and over and over, is you have to understand it's about saying the least amount of words and getting someone to take the next action. That's it. It's like saying, if you were drowning and I threw you a lifesaver, would you grab it? Yes. Okay, I'm going to connect you with my guy. You don't want to talk too much. Because the more you get people asking questions, say, listen, I don't know. All I know is these guys used to sell 500 homes a year. They sound like they were crushing it, and they're doing this, and it doesn't cost you anything. So I would look into it if I were you. And what I tell people is, I know this. I can get somebody to watch this video because I know how to get somebody excited. So the more you can get someone interested, that's the skill of recruiting. You don't have to recruit. You just have to be someone to take the next action, which is take a look at the opportunity. If the opportunity was EXP, they're going to say, no, I'm not interested in EXP. I already know what EXP is. That doesn't work for recruiting. This does work for recruiting because it addresses a real issue and it's a real opportunity. And so that is truthfully, the more you try to talk, the more you're going to lose people. So that's why you uploaded the scripts in there. They're very simple and succinct, and get right to the point and move on and go to the next person. And it's all about inviting. You're learning a skill of inviting, no different than you can learn the skill of calling an expired, calling a FSBO, talking to a seller, converting a buyer. Those are all skills we've learned. This is just a skill of how to invite an agent to an opportunity without messing it up.
And Robbie, here's the thing. We've already brought top producers over underneath you, right? Without having these tools and resources, right? Because our group continues to grow and stuff like that, right? And so how did we do that? You introduced them. We built some rapport. We started running some numbers, and the numbers made a lot of sense. These numbers will make a lot more sense. because now we have, we used to talk a lot about we still talk a lot about REO. I can't control that, right? I can't say, oh, we're going to have 100 in this area or 20 in this area. This is predictable. We can turn these funnels on like this within 2 weeks of being onboarded and stuff like that. And that's kind of the goal, is to get agents into production as fast as possible.
And it's they don't want to log into Facebook and build an ad. They don't want to log into a CRM and determine what text goes out when and what it should say. All of those best practices I've done thousands and thousands of times, and I can tell you what works. Let me just map the system and build it for you and turn it on and show you how to use it. I'm going to give you the Ferrari. All you got to do is put the gas in it.
And on that point, Warren just co-sponsored with Jay yesterday. I see him on the call. He was like, Larry, well, can you walk me through it? I was like, damn, I can try. So I was sharing my screen. I couldn't even log into the back end of my Facebook Meta account for my business. I was like, hold on, I got to call somebody and find out my password. Again, I focus on what I'm good at. You guys are good at calling, converting, doing this. Let's keep you guys in your lane. And then that's where the team comes in, where look, we have all of these specialties, right? Whether it's REO, whether it's coaching, whether it's social media, whether it's this, where we can solve people's problems. We just have to know what their problems are. And that's where the more conversations come into play. And that's the biggest part of this, guys. Mm-hmm. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Because I am late for a coaching call at this point. I already texted Harley and said that Jay was on a rant, so I was going to be a little bit late right now. But any questions, comments, concerns, guys?
Really quickly, hi, my name is Lynette. I just have a really quick question. And these have to be EXP agents, or they do not?
So you want to bring in, you want them to be outside. We want to bring them into, your organization and stuff like that, if at all possible, and help everybody grow together. So this is where I tell people, I don't determine if Jay wants to sell this to somebody or not, right? If they like the system, I will make an introduction to Jay and they can figure out a system, whether Jay wants to figure out how to accept a payment or something like that. And most of the time, it just makes the most financial sense to partner with Jay and myself and stuff at the end of the day. So there's no black or white, right? I would never say that it has to be this way or it has to be this way. There's just some ways that make more sense than others at this point in time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Stephanie, what do you have?
Do you think this can work? So right now I'm in Sarasota, Florida, but I really want to be in Missoula, Montana, and that's going to be a smaller market. Do you think that it will be as successful in that smaller market?
It works better. Yeah. I'm from a small market. Usually your lead cost is lower in smaller markets, but we're going to let ChatGPT tell us, but it's going to work better because there's probably less people that do it in that market. And you're going to own it. I find that it works better in smaller markets. It works in every market. There's not a market I've ever not made it work in. You tell me a budget. I've never been able to spend somebody's budget. So you tell me you got 10,000 a month, I'll spend it. You're going to get leads at $3 to $5, as many as you want. So it works for anybody at scale. I've never ran into a problem where I can't spend the budget. And if this depends on how many leads that you want to generate. In a small market, I would probably hit your budget sooner. Like if you said, I got 1,000, let's start at 300 and see what happens. If we get 125 leads, because their lead cost is a little lower, that might be plenty. And it's like we were talking earlier, somebody got so busy, they turned it off. I always say you can turn it up, turn it down. If you turn it off, you shut off your oxygen. So the system in the background is texting and automatically reaching out to people that are doing things within the system via the behavioral alerts that we want it to do that. If you shut it off in terms of new leads, you're not putting the fuel into it. And so what happens, I had a lady leave town, and I got to jump too, but I had a lady leave town for leave the country for 30 days, came back, called a lead that popped back up, and it was a lead that came in. If she had shut it off and she sold it that weekend, that she would have never had, because she would have shut it down thinking, I don't want these leads while I'm not able to call them. And so I say never turn it off, but some people get real busy and they do that. I would say, even if you're not calling them, those leads are incubating in your system, and it could turn into a sale even if you didn't call them in the first 30 days. So that's my thing.
Stephanie, I would also say that like Jay mentioned this, but I just want to highlight it. There's going to be less people running ads and campaigns in Missoula than there is
Yep.
Phoenix, Arizona, Houston, Texas, which is why I think that we get better results in those smaller markets. Second thing, for anybody that's still on, we just posted a quick link in there for the REO Alliance. We would love to hear like what kind of topics, speakers, and stuff like that you guys want on these mastermind calls and what kind of content we need to come up with. So for anybody that's here still, if you could fill out that would be great while we're finishing. And Jay, you got to run,
Gotta
brother.
jump in. Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta get. All right. See you guys.
I appreciate you guys. If you guys need anything, call, text, email me, let me know. This has been working great for so many people at this point in time. I want it to work great for all of you guys, help increase production, decrease costs, build some wealth, and help do that for other people and stuff as well. So if you have any interest, do it. Don't do it. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I just want to, if this does align with what you are building and stuff, I want to help you more on that. So have a great day, guys. Call me if you need anything, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.
Thanks, Larry. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.